Hey everybody, welcome back to Nicaragua and more. I know it's been sporadic in the last few days, and we're kind of maybe leaning and going a little bit different direction. We still want to do videos. We want to do reaction videos. We love doing them. I love doing reaction videos. They're a lot of fun. A lot of the stuff I've been doing lately, you haven't seen because it's been blocked. And I'm struggling with that, and there's ways to get up blocked content for sure. A lot of creators definitely do get up blocked content, so there are ways around that. I'm exploring some different avenues about that, and we'll be doing, of course, more reaction videos. I mean, I love the Gaithers, and I love that kind of music, of course, and our theme here has been keeping gospel music alive. But there's only so much you can do for so long until it gets a little tired. So I want to branch out and do other music as well. Some of it catches on, some of it doesn't. So we'll see what happens. But today we're doing something different. Today is definitely something different, and it's something that's near and dear to my heart personally. It's near and dear to what I thought I believed, and what I thought might be able to happen, and what I wasn't sure of, and all of those kind of questions. It's about immigration, U.S. immigration, and one of the opportunities that might be out there for people under the Biden administration. And no matter what you think or don't think, or if you think bad or if you think good or whatever, this isn't a political thing. I'm not here to make this political on any level. This is not what I'm doing. It's not my intent. I'm here to be neutral. If you like Biden, well, God bless you. If you don't like Biden, well, God bless you. If you love Bill Clinton, well, God bless you. If you love Barack Obama, God bless you. If you love George Bush, God bless you. If you love Donald Trump, God bless you. If you despise Donald Trump or despise Bill Clinton, well, God bless you. I'm not here to make a political statement in this video. I'm here to try to show the truth about Form I-134A. Form I-134A. Let me explain a little bit further, but first, before I go on, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe for me. Welcome to Nicaragua and more. I'm so happy you're here, guys. Love all of y'all. Y'all have been so faithful and patient with me. Thanks for coming back in. Thanks for supporting my channel. It means a world. It just means the world to me. So thank you so much for that. We're still growing. We're still getting new subscribers. So if you know anybody that you can send my video out to and help to try to get more subscribers. We're still trying to get to that 1,000 mark. So help me out, guys. Help me get to that 1,000 mark. God bless you for being here. Really, I mean that. God bless you for being here and taking time to see what I have to say or see what I have to talk about. Thank you so much for coming in, guys. If you're new, you're family. And like I said, keeping gospel music alive is a theme around here. We're still going to be doing that, but we're branching out and doing some other things as well. The immigration debate is hot in the news and has been for 2, 3, 4 years now. Basically since Trump. I would say, well, since Trump came into office, of course he made declarations. He said what he was going to do. He said he was going to build a wall. He said he was going to try to get a path to immigration reform, which really never happened. But here's the thing. I'm not beating on Trump, but what I am doing is beating on every president since Carter. Since the Carter administration, when I was 10 years old, since that administration, there hasn't been any type of immigration reform. There really hasn't. It's just been a muddle through the muck and the mire, to be real honest. There were years when it was easier. There were years when it was more difficult. During the Obama administration, I think Obama actually sent more people packing out of the United States than any president ever. He what's the word I'm looking for? Deported. He deported more immigrants than anybody ever in the history of any presidency. So, you might think it was Trump. I know it was not. It was Obama. So Obama really had some tough policies on illegal immigration. He really did. So in that regard, I'm not sure that immigration reform was ever needed, and still is not needed. It's not. I mean, there are laws that make coming over the border without permission, that's illegal. There are laws that make that illegal. Whether or not they're being enforced now, I don't know that. There are a million other creators out there that go and visit the border and talk about the people coming over, talk about the people trying to come over, who's doing what, who's getting over, what they have to do, what they have to say, what the right thing to say is. Let me just give a shout out to Peter Santinello. If you've never heard of Peter Santinello, look him up. His videos are amazing. He does amazing work from the border. He's had several videos where he's like run around with the sheriff, not a deputy, but the sheriff of like Cochise County, Arizona. He ran around with the sheriff of Cochise County, Arizona, for about an hour and a half one day, and just learned so much about what was really happening at the border from a sheriff's perspective. And the sheriff departments are the only ones that can talk to the public about what's happening at the border. The feds cannot. They cannot go on camera and talk about it. The sheriffs can, and they will. And so those videos are interesting. That's really not what this is about. What this is about is a program that Biden started back in January. This program is called Parole. Parole. Yes, the word parole. If someone gets booted out of prison, gets sent out into the public, and they are told they are on parole. They have to report to a parole officer. They have certain things they have to do. They can't drink. They can't, they have rules to follow. That's parole from a prison perspective. This is the same word, parole. Biden started a program in January called Immigration Parole. And what that means is there are four countries that are involved. I believe the four countries that are involved in immigration parole. It's Venezuela, Cuba, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Haiti. Yes, Venezuela, Cuba, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Haiti. Those 5 countries are eligible for parole. What this parole program does, in short, I'm going to shorten this down, but what this parole program does in short is allow people from these countries to go to the United States on a short-term visa called parole. They've been paroled from their country into the United States on a short-term 2-year visa. They're allowed to work, and they're allowed to participate in the education system in the United States. They must pay taxes, but they are allowed to work. Now, in order to get that short-term parole, they must have a support system in the United States. They can't just show up and say, yeah, I want parole, I'm here. They can't show up at the southern border at a port of entry down in Tijuana, down in Laredo, wherever it is. They can't show up at a port of entry and say, oh yeah, I'm here, I want parole. No. They have to go through the process in their home country, apply through the U.S. Embassy through an application process, be vetted for security reasons, and they must have a supporter in the U.S. sign an application, a complete, fulfilled application showing that they can support these people or this one person. So that must happen before they are considered to be given parole. Now, there has been a lot of misnomers going on out there about this parole program. At first, it was said to have run off of an app on the phone. Well, that app never worked. Then it was said to just be allowing anybody in at any time for any reason, that there really was no vetting going on. Guys, I don't know about that. I don't know anything about that. But what I do know is I personally heard that in order to be considered, that the first step you must do is file the I-134A. The I-134A. And that must be filed online from the United States for the person that they want to support and bring over. That's how that works. They must file the I-134A online and be approved before anything else can happen. Now, I've heard that the person must be able to show that they bring into their household at least $40,000 a year. That's the requirement for support for one person that I know of. I don't know. That's what I've heard. Then through another source, I heard that they changed it, and you had to have assets, and you had to show a certain amount of assets, and the income level had been raised. No, let me back up for a minute. The income level was $25,000 for one person. The person in the United States supporting that person from the 5 countries, if they wanted to bring someone over and be the supporter, they had to at least make $25,000. Well, that's not very much money. Then I heard that they moved it to $40,000 plus assets. So I don't know if that's true. I don't know what's true. I don't know what's true and what's not true. There's a lot of rumors going on around, and it's a convoluted process a little bit to find the I-134A. But I have found it. It's sitting right there on the screen, the I-134A, the online request to be a supporter and declaration of financial support to bring somebody from one of the 5 countries that's eligible for parole. So, I'm going to go through the application questions and show you personally what they ask so we can see it together. We will see together. This is a live application. I brought this up right now, just minutes ago. I brought this up, and we're going to go through what would be a live application. We're not going to answer the questions. We're just going to look at what each question is asked and what is asked of the financial support person. What is the requirement to help sponsor someone through the parole program? We're going to find out right now. Now, I'm going to read this first paragraph for you, and then I'm not going to read that. We're just going to go right to the questions. So I'm not going to read any more after that. It's just too long and too extensive. So I'll read this first paragraph for you. The I-134A online request to be a supporter and declaration of financial support. Some immigration benefits that involve a temporary stay in the United States require U.S. citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS, to determine whether the applicant or beneficiary of the request has sufficient financial resources or financial support to pay for expenses during the temporary stay. The individual who signs and submits Form I-134A must establish that he or she has both sufficient financial resources and access to those funds to support the beneficiary listed on Form I-134A for the duration of the beneficiary's stay in the United States. Now, here in this paragraph, it doesn't say anything about the amount, anything about any other kind of support. It doesn't say any of that. It says what it said, and of course you can take a screenshot and read this for yourself if you would like. Just stop the video and boom, you can read it right there. So, moving on, This goes through, here's the list of countries right here. We are only accepting online filing of Form I-134A from individuals agreeing to financially support eligible beneficiaries from the following countries: Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua. The Ukraine is another one, and Venezuela. You must be located in the United States to file Form 134A. So that's where it is generated from. Before you start your declaration, it talks about eligibility, talks about a fee. There is no fee whatsoever. Documents you may need, it tells any documents that you may need, which there are some. And I won't go through this. Again, I'm not going to go through this. It would just be, it would be a 2-hour video, and we've already gone 15 minutes. So thanks for bearing with me, guys. Thanks again for being here. Thanks for bearing with me. Let's get to the questions. Biometric service, boom, 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 all this stuff, okay? Now you go actually to the application. Next, completing your form online, filing online. It gives you more privacy notices, security reminder. If you do not work on your declaration for more than 30 days, we will delete your data in order to prevent storing personal information indefinitely. Okay, so let's start the actual questioning on the I-134A form to sponsor someone from one of these countries. What questions do they ask you? What is required? Let's find out right now. Question number 1, and I won't go question number 2. I'm not going to do that, but here we are, just so you know. This is question number 1. The first question you're going to see. On whose behalf are you filing this form? I am filing this form under one of the following. And it brings up a list of countries: Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, Ukraine, or Venezuela. Okay. Next question. Is someone assisting you with completing this declaration? Yes or no? Next question. What is your current legal name? Remember, this is the person acting as the sponsor in the United States. The person that's raising the right hand saying, I'm willing to bring these people to my home or to my place, wherever, and I'm willing to give them financial support. That's who this application is for. What is your current legal name? Have you used any other name since birth? Provide the name of the organization, group, or entity that is providing support to the beneficiary with you, if any. How may we contact you? Mobile telephone number, if any. Email address. What is your current mailing address? Country. Address line. City, state, zip. Is your mailing address the same as a physical address? Yes or no? Next questions. What is your date of birth? What is your city or town of birth? What is your state or province of birth? What is your country of birth? What is your sex? Male, female, X. Next question. What is your current immigration status? Are you a U.S. citizen, U.S. national, lawful permanent resident, non-immigrant, or other? What is your A number? And the options there are, I do not have or know my A number. I have no idea what that is either. I don't know what that means. What is your social security number? Provide a 9-digit social security number. What is your USCIS online account number? That's immigration. What is your online immigration account number? It says here, I do not have or know my number. Provide the 12-digit number below if you have it. What is your relationship to the beneficiary? Adopted brother. Okay. There are adopted brother, adopted child not married or married, adopted daughter, adopted sibling, adopted sister, adopted son, adopted brother or sister, adopted son or daughter, adopted father, adopted mother, biological brother, biological, goes through this whole list. I'm not going to go through it all, guys. That's boring. I'm not going to go through it all, but there's a huge list there. What is your employment status? Employed full-time, unemployed, retired, or other? Next. Provide all of the information requested in the table below about yourself, all of your dependents, and any other individuals you financially support. Do not include any individuals listed in the beneficiary's financial information section. Information about assets that are not based on employment should be added in the assets of the individual agreeing to financially support the beneficiary section below. So what this is saying is, we're not asking you to have benefits. We're not asking you to have assets. But if you do have assets to add them here. Provide all of the information requested in the table below about yourself, all of your dependents, and any other individuals you financially support. Do not include any individuals listed in the beneficiary's financial information section. Information about assets that are not based on employment should be added in the assets of the individual agreeing to financially support the beneficiary section below. Add entry. What is the individual's full name? What is the individual's date of birth? What is the individual's relationship to the individual agreeing to financially support the beneficiary? How much income will the individual contribute to the beneficiary annually? Okay. Save entry. Okay. Name, action. What is the total number of dependents? What is the total income? Okay. So all of these are financial and income related questions. It's not a demand, it's just questions. Next. Does any of the income listed come from an illegal activity or source, such as proceeds from illegal gambling or illegal drug sales? Well, really? Really? Someone's really going to say yes to this? Okay. Does any of the income listed above come from means tested public benefits as defined in 8 CFR 213A .1? Yes or no? Next. You are responsible for receiving, maintaining, and supporting the beneficiary for the duration of their temporary stay in the United States. Describe the resources you plan to use or provide to ensure the beneficiary has adequate financial support to cover their basic living needs. Okay, so yeah, you are responsible. If you're going to sponsor someone, you're responsible for their financial support. Describe the resources you plan to use or provide to ensure the beneficiary has adequate financial support to cover their basic living needs. If they're going to be living with you and you earn an income and they don't have any money, well then you would be helping them with groceries and food and shelter, a bed to sleep in, whatever that may be. That's what that's asking for. Next question. You are responsible for ensuring the beneficiary has safe and appropriate housing for the duration of their parole in the United States. Describe how you will ensure that the beneficiary's housing needs are met, including where the beneficiary will reside during their temporary stay in the United States, if known. Your address. You are responsible for assisting the beneficiary's access to available services and benefits such as learning English, securing employment opportunities once authorized to work, enrolling children in school, and helping to enroll for benefits for which they are eligible. Describe what steps you plan to take as part of these responsibilities. So in this place you would probably say, I plan on taking the normal course of duty here to help the people I am sponsoring, point them in the right direction for all of the said components here. So it's very simply laid out, really. You're responsible for assisting the beneficiaries' access to available services and benefits. Now, those services and benefits vary on a case-by-case basis. Some people would really need those benefits, other people wouldn't. So it would just depend on the case, a case-by-case basis. Okay. Provide information about any assets you will use to support the beneficiary for the anticipated period of his or her stay. List only assets that can be converted into cash within 12 months and that would be used to support the beneficiary while the beneficiary is in the United States. Provide the value of all assets listed in U.S. dollars, regardless of whether they are held in the United States or outside of the United States. Do not include assets from any individual in the beneficiary financial information section. You may also include your household members' assets below. Attach evidence in the evidence section under proof of assets and bonds showing that you or your dependents have these assets. Okay, so you either have the assets, or you don't. Or if you don't want to add them, you don't add them. You would either add them or you wouldn't. To me, it doesn't sound mandatory. However, you may also include your household members' assets below each of it. Proof of assets. I don't know where proof of assets comes in. Add entry. What is assets full? Boom, boom. Which type of asset you can say here? Checking, banking. Okay. Pretty basic questions. Checking, of course, that's an asset. Savings, annuity, stocks, bonds, personal property, net value. Okay. Save entry. Okay. Cancel. Okay. What is the total amount of the assets in U.S. dollars? Okay. Have you previously submitted a Form I-134 or a Form I-134A on behalf of a person other than the beneficiary listed on this Form I-134A? Yes or no? Next. What is the beneficiary's current legal name? Has the beneficiary used any other name since birth? Next. How may we contact the beneficiary? Daytime telephone number, mobile telephone number, if any. Please ensure that you provide a valid email address for the beneficiary. We will use this email address to notify the beneficiary about the status of this Form I-134A. Failure to provide an email address to the beneficiary will prevent them from completing the parole process. If this Form I-134A is confirmed, do not use your email address as the beneficiary's email address. Email address. What is the beneficiary's current mailing address? In care of name, if any, country, address line 1, address line 2, city or town, province, postal code. Is the beneficiary's mailing address the same as the physical address? Yes or no? Next question. What is the beneficiary's date of birth? What is the beneficiary's city or town of birth? What is the beneficiary's state or province of birth? What is the beneficiary's country of birth? Next question. What is the beneficiary's sex? Please select the sex that is shown on your passport or other government-issued identity document. For any value other than male or female that appears on your identity document, please choose X. Unspecified or other gender identity, USCIS requires this information to conduct accurate background checks and security screening. Male, female, or X. What is the beneficiary marital status? Single, never married, married, divorced, widowed, legally separated, marriage annulled, other. What is the beneficiary's country of citizenship or nationality? Okay. We are only accepting what country issued the beneficiary's most recently issued passport. What is the number of the beneficiary's most recently issued passport? What is the expiration date of the beneficiary's most recently issued passport? What is the beneficiary's A number? What is the beneficiary's anticipated period of stay in the United States? Next question. And it asks there to put in dates. I don't know how you could possibly know that. Who knows when this gets approved? I have no idea how long the process takes to get approved. Who knows? I don't know that. So how would you know what to put there? I'm not sure on that. Just a guess or anticipated dates, I would guess. Next question. Provide information about the income of the beneficiary, all of the beneficiary's dependents, and any other individuals the beneficiary financially supports. Do not include any individuals named in the financial information about the individual agreeing to financially support the beneficiary section. What is the beneficiary's total number of dependents? How much income will the beneficiary's dependents contribute to the beneficiary annually? Next question. Does any of the beneficiary's total income, including income from dependents and other individuals who contribute to the beneficiary's income, excluding any individuals named in the financial information about the person agreeing to financially support the beneficiary section, come from an illegal activity or source, such as proceeds from illegal gambling or illegal drug sales? Again, really? Does any of the beneficiary's total income come from the means tested public benefits as defined in 8 CFR 213A.1? Yes or no? Next question. Provide the current cash value of any assets available to the beneficiary for the expected period of his or her stay. List only assets that can be converted to cash within 12 months and that will be used to support the beneficiary while the beneficiary is in the United States. Provide the value of all assets listed in U.S. dollars, regardless of whether the assets are held in the United States or outside of the United States. Do not include assets from any individuals named in the financial information about the individual agreeing to financially support the beneficiary section. You may include the net value of the beneficiary's home as an asset. The net value of the home is the appraised value of the home, minus the sum of all loans secured by a mortgage, trust, deed, or other lien on the home. If you list the net value of the beneficiary's home, then you must include documentation demonstrating that the beneficiary owns the home, a recent appraisal by a licensed appraiser, and evidence of the amount of all loans secured by mortgage, trust, deed, or other lien on this home. You may not include the net value of the beneficiary's automobile unless the beneficiary has more than one automobile, and at least one automobile is not included as an asset. Submit evidence of the value of the assets listed. Evidence must include the name of the asset holder, a description of the asset, proof of ownership, and the basis for the owner's claim of its net cash value. Each evidence in the evidence section under proof of beneficiary's assets and bonds showing that the beneficiary has these assets. Add entry. What is the total amount US dollars? Next question. Bank officer statement. Provide a statement from an officer of the bank or other financial institutions with deposits, identifying the following details: date account opened, total amount deposited for the past year, and present balance. As a person who agrees to financially support the beneficiary, you must show that you have sufficient income or financial resources to support the beneficiary. Failure to provide evidence of sufficient income or financial resources may result in the denial of the foreign national's application for a visa or his or her removal from the United States. File requirements: clear and readable. Acceptable file formats: JPEG, JPG, JPEG, PDF, TIF, or TIFF. No encrypted or password protected files. If your documents are in foreign language, upload full English translation and the translator's certificate with each original document. Upload no more than 5 documents at a time. Accepted file name, characters, English letters, numbers, spaces, periods, hyphens, underscores, and parentheses. Maximum size per file is 12 megabytes. Choose or drop files here to upload. Bam. Next question. You should provide evidence. Next. It advises, it's letting me move on, but it advises you should provide evidence. If you do not provide evidence, your declaration processing may be delayed. So you do need to provide evidence of all the above there. The bank officer statement. That's something that you do need to provide evidence. Again, there's been no amount listed. Nowhere in this application has any amount been discussed, listed, talked about, demanded, or anything like that. Employer statement. Provide statements from your employer or business stationery showing date and nature of employment, salary paid, and whether the position is temporary or permanent. As a person who agrees to financially support the beneficiary, you must show you have sufficient income or financial resources to support the beneficiary. Failure to provide evidence of sufficient income or financial resources may result in the denial of the foreign national's application for a visa or his or her removal from the United States. Guys, thanks for hanging with me. I know the video's long, but this is an application process, and if anybody's interested in hearing this application and what it asks and what it requires within the application, this is the place to be. So I'm just reading the application. Thank you guys so much for hanging around. Thank you for being here. Nicaragua and more. Like, share, subscribe if you would. I appreciate it so much. Let's continue. File requirements. Clear and readable, acceptable file, no encrypted. Let's talk about file requirements again. We know that. Let's go to the next question. You should provide evidence. Again, they're saying, hey, if you don't provide evidence, your declaration processing may be delayed. You should provide evidence of the employer statement. If you're retired, you're retired. Or if you're on disability, you're on disability. Or whatever the case may be. If you're employed, then provide evidence. But again, it does not say how much that you need to be earning. It doesn't give an amount. It does not say that. So far, it has not said that anywhere. Income tax return. Provide a copy of the last U.S. federal income tax return filed. As a person who agrees to financially support the beneficiary, you must show you have sufficient income or financial resources to support the beneficiary. Failure to provide evidence of sufficient income or financial resources may result in the denial of the foreign national's application for a visa or his or her removal from the United States. Then it gives the file requirements again and what JPEG and all that stuff, okay? So again, though, it does not say, yes, it is demanding and asking for the last copy of your tax statement, but it is not asking for a specific amount of money to have been earned or any kind of assets or any kind of thing of that nature. So far at this point, it has not asked that. And of course it says you should provide this evidence, and of course, yeah, if we were really filling out this application, of course you would need to provide that. Bonds. Provide a list containing serial numbers and denomination of bonds and name of record owners. It goes through the disclaimer again as a person who agrees to financially, that disclaimer, and then the file requirement. So it's doing a bonds thing. If you have bonds, you can put up bonds. You could skip this. The way I read this application, if you had bonds, well, you could certainly skip that. You don't have to put it. Maybe you think your income's sufficient enough, or if you don't have bonds, then you're not going to put that. You're going to skip it. It's not a requirement. They're just asking you to put it if you have it and if you want to put it. Again, you should provide evidence. Next question. Proof of immigration status. Provide evidence of your status. A U.S. citizen or U.S. national may submit a copy of a birth certificate, certificate of naturalization, certificate of citizenship, consular report of birth abroad to U.S. parents, or a copy of the biographic data page on your U.S. passport. Proof of lawful permanent resident status includes a photocopy of both sides of permanent resident card or alien registration receipt card, Form I-551, or a photocopy of an unexpired temporary Form I-551, stamp in either a foreign passport or DHS Form I-94, arrival departure record. Proof of lawful immigration status may include a copy of an unexpired visa in a foreign passport. File requirements is the same thing. The JPEG, how much, 12 megabytes for a file, all that good stuff. Next question. You should provide that evidence. Absolutely, if we were filling out the application for real. Proof of assets of individual agreeing to financially support the beneficiary. Provide information about any assets you will use to support the beneficiary for the anticipated period of his or her stay. List only assets that can be converted into cash within 12 months and that will be used to support. I need a drink of water. One moment. Thanks for hanging with me, guys. Okay. Provide the value of all assets listed in U.S. dollars, regardless of whether they are held in the United States or outside the United States. Do not include assets from any individuals in the beneficiary's financial information section. You may include the net value of a home as an asset. The net value of the home is the appraised value of the home, minus the sum of all loans secured by a mortgage, trust, deed, or other lien on the home. If you include the net value of your home, then you must include documentation demonstrating that you own the home, a recent appraisal by a licensed appraiser, and evidence of the amount of all loans secured by mortgage, trust, deed, or other lien on the home. You may not include the net value of an automobile unless you show that you have more than one automobile, and at least one automobile is not included as an asset. Submit evidence of the value of you or your household members' assets. Evidence must include the name of the asset holder, description of the asset, proof of ownership, and the basis of the owner's claim of its net cash value. As a person who agrees to financially support the beneficiary, you must show you have sufficient income or financial resources to support the beneficiary. Failure to provide evidence of sufficient income or financial resources may result in the denial of the foreign national's application for a visit on his or her removal from the United States, and then file requirements. Next question. Again, it advises you should, of course. Proof of beneficiary assets. Provide information about any assets available to the beneficiary for the anticipated period of his or her stay. List only assets that can be converted into cash within 12 months. We're talking about the beneficiary, the person coming from one of the 5 countries. Not the person sponsoring, but the beneficiary. List only assets that can be converted into cash within 12 months and that will be used to support the beneficiary while the beneficiary is in the United States. Provide the value of all assets listed in U.S. dollars, regardless of whether the assets are held in the United States or outside the United States do not include assets from any individuals in the financial information about the person agreeing to financially support the beneficiary section. You may include the net value of the beneficiary's home as an asset, the net value of the home. It's the same requirements. It's the same. They're asking you to provide the beneficiary's home just like they're asking you to provide the signer. The same exact language. You may submit evidence of the value, the same exact evidence. File requirements, same exact evidence. You either have it or you don't. A lot of people from these 5 countries, of course, they're not going to have a home. That's why they're wanting to go to the United States to get a better life. I get that totally. These people may or may not have a home. So that's just, they're asking if that's something that you want to present and you have to present, then you can present it. Next question. Additional information. If you need to provide any additional information for any of your answers to the questions in this form, enter it into the space below. You should include the questions that you are referencing. If you do not need to provide any additional information, you may leave the section blank. Next. Check your declaration before you submit. Please review your declaration and check it for accuracy and completeness before you submit it. We encourage you to provide as many responses as you can throughout the declaration. Missing or incomplete information may slow down the review process after you submit your declaration. You can return to this page to review your declaration as many times as you want before you submit it. The name of this form has changed. The name of this form has changed to Form I-134A, Online Request to be a Supporter and Declaration of Financial Support. No other changes have been made to your draft. Learn more. Your form filing fee is $0. Refund policy. USCIS does not refund fees regardless of the action we take on your application, petition or request, or how long USCIS take to reach a decision. By continuing this transaction, you acknowledge that you must submit fees in the exact amount and that you are paying the fees for government service. Alerts and warnings. You have one or more alerts and warnings based on the information you provided in your declaration. It readily means you have incomplete responses or inconsistent data. You cannot submit your declaration with any alerts. There are errors in getting started. Of course there are errors. I didn't fill it out. So that's the end of this. That is the end. We have gone through the entire I-134A application. Now, all through the application they ask you to list financial assets if you have them. They do not, however, anywhere in this application or anywhere in the process do they demand a certain amount. They don't demand that you earn $40,000 a year. They don't demand that you earn $25,000 a year or $60,000 a year. They don't demand that you prove how much that you earned up to a certain point. There's never been that question or those issues. Never have I seen that demand anywhere on this application. They do ask you to include what you would like to include if you have any of the prerequisites, or I say prerequisite because it's not really a prerequisite. They're just asking if you have those and would like to include them in the evidence that you have to show, hey, we can support these people. Obviously, you're going to have to be able to show that you earn money, but nowhere in here does it say you need to have stocks, bonds, annuities, assets of any kind. It does not say or list or mention that you must have assets in order to be a sponsor. It does not say that anywhere in this application. It asks you to put those if you do have them, and if you would like to put those in the application, you're welcome to, but it does not demand it, require it, or ask for it. It does not in any way, shape, or form. So I think there is a lot of misnomers going around about this parole process and what it includes. Just a month ago, I flew from Nicaragua to the United States, and when I landed at Fort Lauderdale, um, there was a specific line where a lady was saying, "Parole, parole. Anybody here for parole? Step this way, step this way. Anybody here for parole?" So I think the process is easier than what some people may think it is, or what others have advised that it is. I don't think you know until you fill out the application and let her fly. That's all you can do. If you make $28,000 a year, or if you make $348,000 a year, you just fill out the application. If you have no assets, you have no assets. Does it ask for assets? It asks if you have assets and would like to include it in the application. Yes, it does ask that. Is it a requirement? No, not according to this application that I just dialed up from the immigration website, the U.S. immigration website. In fact, what is the IRL? What is it? my.uscis.gov/forms/declaration of financial support. That's where we are on the internet, live right now, dialed up an hour ago on May 14th, 2023. This is live as it is shown to any applicant in the United States right now, live in person. So what you see is what you get as of right now. Can they change the form? Well, absolutely. Could it change daily? I don't know. I've never looked at it before. But this is what I'm reading right now today. If you filled out the application, the questions we just asked are the questions you would see immediately right now. Guys, thank you for coming in. I know this has probably been boring. I'm sorry it's been boring, but maybe it's been educational. Maybe some of you have learned something from it. Maybe this helps educate some people. I mean, there's a lot of people out there saying a lot of things about immigration. I just think there's so much misinformation out there that what is true and right needs to be known. It needs to be put out there. Someone needs to put it out there and say, hey, no, this is incorrect, or that information was bad, or this information is good. Or like we did, we went right to the source and read the questions. There is no arguing. I'm right here on the source. You can go live to the website, look it up for yourself. Absolutely. So there is no question about it. That is what it is. So thanks again, guys, for joining me here at Nicaragua and More. Look for some awesome more videos to come. Look for more reaction videos. We're always going to have that theme, keeping gospel music alive, because that's what we're trying to do here at Nicaragua and More. And I hope you'll like, share, subscribe my channel, guys. We're going to be doing a bunch more stuff. So I love y'all. Thanks for coming in. God bless you. Be good to others. Do unto others as you would have them to do to you, guys. Much love to y'all. Always remember, live in love. That's the only way to be and the only way to live. Love you guys. Take care now.